Allow me to be very, very blunt. I may be looking at this show with rose-tinted glasses as I review it, because this was the first ever WrestleMania that I watched. Let's talk about that. Hello and welcome to FCTR. I am Ewan McQuaid, and today I am talking about WrestleMania 25. The 25th anniversary of WrestleMania, a show to mark a quarter of a century for WrestleMania. And was it any good? Was it any good? Now, this show holds a very particular place in my heart, let me put it that way. And the way this works, I'm going to go down match by match and talk about every single aspect of the show that I want to, because some things are not worth talking about on this show. So shall we get right into it? We started off on the pre-show with a solid unification match between the Clones and John Morrison and The Miz. It was solid enough. This probably could have been on the main card, maybe eked out a particular match that's not that great and very problematic to look back on. It was solid enough. Unified the tag belts. That seems like it should be a big deal, but apparently it was not. Not enough to be on the main show. But then we got into the main show with the Money in the Bank ladder match. No, there was more. This is a WrestleMania. We have to have a big opening, very cool introductory video package, and then we got Nicole Scherzinger of the Pussycat Dolls singing the American National Anthem. Cool. I like Nicole Scherzinger. Don't Hold Your Breath is an absolute banger, as is Heartbeat. Yes, Heartbeat with Enrique Iglesias also slaps. There's a lot of good Nicole Scherzinger songs. Anyway, sidetracked. Let's talk about the Money in the Bank ladder match, the first match of the show. CM Punk, Finlay, Kane, Mark Henry, Kofi Kingston, MVP. Sorry, I've just knocked the mic. I'm getting so into it. Christian, and there's one other person. Allow me to look at the notes. Shelton Benjamin. How could I forget? Because Shelton Benjamin does a very silly dive in this match. So, this Money in the Bank ladder match is really good. I think this is one of the best WrestleMania Money in the Bank ladder matches anyway, because there's a lot of cool spots in here. You've got the tadpole splash from Hornswoggle onto a crowd of people. Very silly. Again, you've got Shelton doing his very, 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 very silly dive from the top of a very, very, very tall ladder, which is, very fun. And you've got a very sort of nasty spot from Shelton where it seems like he hits every single one of MVP's head. He just hits his head a lot down the ladder when he botches the sunset flip powerbomb. Christian is so over in this match as well. He looked like he was going to be the winner throughout, but no, it was CM Punk who capitalised and won the Money in the Bank for the second time, as you all know. It was a really fun match. Kofi Kingston, though. Let's talk about Kofi Kingston, because this is the time when Kofi was getting over. His athleticism was unparalleled. I believe it was after this that he got into the dreaded feud with Randy Orton. He was so good in this match. He got all of the spots that show he was being pushed. He got the incredible high spots of, climbing a ladder that's been held up by Mark Henry, that's just cool. It's not been seen before. He got the jump over the ladder into the drop kick. He got the swing through the ladder and tips the ladder on Finlay. He got so many opportunities in this match to look great, and it's just criminal looking back that they didn't push him to the main event, because he was so goddamn good. But no, this match went to CM Punk, who, he's CM Punk. He obviously deserved this win. And yeah, great. Absolutely great match. Terrific Money in the Bank ladder match. Easily, best of sort of that era, because they did go downhill from this one. And yeah, solid opening to the show. Then we got the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal. There's not a lot to be said about this. It's borderline atrocious, and it's won by a fucking man. So yeah, I'm not going to go into this. It's terrible. It's really bad, really awful stuff, really problematic. Not as bad, I think, as James Ellsworth winning Money in the Bank. I think that's worse, but this is really, 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 really bad. Really bad stuff. So let's brush that away. I'm not talking about that. Which is a shame, because there should have been a proper women's match on this show. You know? The Divas? No, I think it was still the women's title at this point. Should have been defended on this show. But it is what it is. Next up, we got Chris Jericho versus the Legends. The Legends of Jimmy Snuka, Ricky Steamboat and Roddy Piper. This was fun. It's great seeing Jericho being a bastard and just destroying these legends. Weird Mickey Rourke sitting at ringside who looked bored out of his mind. And yeah, the match itself is solid enough. Jimmy Snuka's the worst in the ring, but Ricky Steamboat could still go at this point. He really put Jericho through the ringer with some chops, diving chop, arm drags. He was really, really sensational in this match, and you know, he was the last opponent that Jericho beat. It was good that they worked up to that. That was fun. It was really, really fun. And yeah, the ending, Jericho wins, and it feels like 20 minutes for Mickey Rourke to get in the ring and just box with him. It's very strange. Very, very strange. And yeah, Mickey Rourke knocks him out and stands tall. Cool. God, it's weird. This is a weird WrestleMania. Next, we had Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy in an Extreme Rules match. I don't care what anyone says. This match is awesome. It's so cool. You've got a dryvac, Matt hitting Jeff with a dryvac. You've got Jeff doing the absolute silly nonsense of putting himself through a table on top of Matt, who is on a table. Absolutely love that. I love the video package for this. I am incredibly biased towards this match because this is one of my favourite matches as a child, and it still is. I know a lot of the spots in this. I really do. I love when Jeff clocks Matt with a crutch when he's got a bin on his head. Perfect. And the very, very, very silly jump off the ladder at the end. I think, you know, they told a fine enough story of Jeff went one step too far in trying to beat Matt. And Matt, yeah, he just evades. He knows his brother too well. Twist of fate in the chair, wins. I think it's very simple storytelling that works really, really well. And it furthers into the rest of the matches they have. I believe they had the stretcher match on SmackDown, I think, after this. And then they had the I Quit match at Backlash. It's good. I really enjoy this match. Don't come at me. One of the best matches on the show. Then we got Rey Mysterio versus JBL. This is fun. This is fun nonsense. So JBL comes out, starts talking trash. That's what we like. We like seeing JBL rip into a city. No, a state. JBL rip into a state because he rips into Texas. Well, he rips into Dallas. He rips into both. And yeah, he faces Rey Mysterio. The match is over in about 20 seconds, something like that. And Rey wins. JBL says he quits at the end. It's a perfect angle. Really perfect angle. And I believe JBL never wrestled again. This was his last match. And it was a really cool way to put over Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio looks great coming out of this, especially in his Joker cosplay. And yeah, the despicable heel gets destroyed by the babyface. Simple storytelling, simple psychology, brilliant. Really fun angle to have on this show. Then we got The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels in what is probably the best WrestleMania match ever. And rewatching it, it absolutely holds up. The video package before this is incredible. The video packages across the board for WrestleMania 25 are incredible. It perfectly captures the light versus dark aspect of this feud, the streak versus Mr. WrestleMania. The video package alone is worth a watch, even if you don't want to watch the match. But the match is phenomenal. They go at it straight away with chops, ducks, Undertaker striking Michael's chops, and then they get into the high spots, they get into the fast-paced stuff, the moves of doom, Shawn Michaels' is sort of forearm, I think it's a flying forearm into the kip up, and then you've got Undertaker doing his old school, all that stuff. But then it gets into like sort of New Japan levels of kick out, with the sweet chin music that Undertaker kicks out of, Michaels kicks out of the Tombstone Pile Driver, and the crowd is just going mental. You get the really scary dive from Undertaker onto the cameraman, where it looks like he nearly breaks his neck, which is scary. But it ends with Michaels going up for a moonsault one too many times, and yeah, Undertaker catches him, Tombstone Pile Driver, 1, 2, 3. The streak lives on. Fantastic match. It really is an amazing achievement that these two put on, especially in the middle of the show. You weren't expecting it. You weren't expecting this match to be so good, and it is. It's fantastic. One of my favourite matches of all time. One of my favourite feuds of all time. I highly recommend, if you're a wrestling fan and you have not seen this match, I highly recommend you check it out right now. It's a 5-star match from top to bottom. I love this match so much. But let's talk about the next match, which I had fond memories of this match. Those memories were wrong. Edge versus Big Show versus John Cena in a triple threat for the World Heavyweight Championship. This match is very monotonous, very tedious. This is like playing a triple threat on one of the 2K games, in which you knock down one of the opponents and they roll out the ring and it just becomes a singles match. There's not a lot of sort of triple threat action like you get in most triple threats. This feels very isolated, very sort of like just boring, because there's not much triple threat uniqueness going on. For example, Big Show gets caught up in the ropes and it's just a singles match between Edge and Cena from that point. Big Show gets out of the ropes, he knocks down one of them, he knocks down the other one gets back up, he knocks down that one. There's not a lot of uniqueness in this triple threat. It's really bland and really weird story to tell. The one sort of high spot comes sort of at the beginning, which is Cena leg dropping Big Show to the outside. I think that's cool. You got Edge jumping off the steps and sort of spearing Big Show through the barricade. It's more like a splash. And yeah, it ends with the supposed double AA, but you watch it back, he picks up Edge for about a second and then Edge slips off, and then he just AAs the Big Show, and then he AAs Edge on top of the Big Show. So yeah, this match actually really underwhelmed me when I watch it again, which is sad, because this match, it was really rose tinted up there, really rose tinted. Not a great main event, well, co-main event, and then we went into another not great main event, Randy Orton versus Triple H. The issue with this, and you can see it, right? You can see it because the video package for this is very long, and it's really solid. It's great. It's a really great video package. But it never once explains why Triple H will lose his title if he gets disqualified. That is a stipulation of the match. It never says that in the video package. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I watched this very recently and they never addressed that. This match should have been a no-holds-barred match. Hands down. You've got the animosity between Triple H and Randy Orton. It is there. He RKO'd his wife. Triple H broke into his home. There is so much hate there. But it's got one hand tied behind its back, this match, because it can't go that extra level. And instead it's just a lot of ground and pound, a lot of kicking in the corner, when really this should be like thumbtacks. This should be blood. This should be an absolute war. But it's not. And it's really strange that this is like almost a feud starter, because they had matches at Backlash, they had a match at the Bash, I believe, and then they had the match at Night of Champions. This is like the feud starter, but it feels like it should be the feud ender. It's really, really weird, this match, and a beautiful sort of car wreck, if you will, because I really didn't enjoy this whatsoever. I thought it was a terribly boring main event, and Triple H doesn't have a good track record with those, does he? Am I right? And it's just weird. Why wouldn't they do it as a hardcore match? That's exactly what it should have been. So yeah, it ends on a bit of a dud, this show, and you know, me looking back on this with such fond memories, they've been dashed a bit by rewatching it, because for me, there's only sort of 3 good matches on this 4-hour show. Oh my god, it felt long. Kid Rock, what are you doing? 3 matches on this show that I thought were legitimately good, and that's Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy, it's Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, it's the Money in the Bank ladder match, and to an extent I thought Jericho versus the Legends was fun. But the big matches that you want to watch on this show, I feel massively under-delivered. So rating this show, I am going to give it 2.5 stars out of 5, which ain't great. It's not. Will I watch this whole show again? No. I will go back and watch Michaels Undertaker, of course, and Jeff versus Matt, of course. But the rest of the show is a dud, I'm afraid. Absolute dud. Let me know your thoughts on WrestleMania 25 down in the comments, and let me know what WrestleMania did you revisit and then hate. I don't hate this show. I don't hate it. Let me know down in the comments, and I'll try and apply to every single one of you. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.